back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 Man the Guns DLC. Yes, this is just a straight game. We're taking a look at that while Black Ice and other mods sort of get up to speed, working with the new DLC and the many great new mechanics added to the game. But also, you need to know just what the standard game looks like. And I am playing this with standard history, and we see things like Bulgaria disappearing already. So that's not pleasing to me, but let's continue here. Well, we have some more panzers coming. Well, panzers, tanks. Where are they? Here they are. Now, let's take a look. We have 244 medium tanks. And we have almost 1,500 light tanks. So, if we were to add a medium tank brigade to this, we could do that. Yep. Let's do that. Oh, and I wanted to see if we could edit. Yes, we can edit colonial or those. Let's see if we can edit some of our exile templates. Yes, we can. So we can do that. That was a question I had, and I wasn't sure whether we could edit those or not. Don't know if it's worth it or we should just change it to some other ones. Got a Dutch leader. Okay, invade Greece for Italy. Invade Greece for Italy, don't know. You mean, I don't know what you mean by that. Now, do you have any medium tanks yet? No, they haven't made it out to you. Oh, gotta unpause it. That would help things go. Okay, improved radar, nice. And let's see, we could do that, but I don't know. Still in 1940, so no, I don't know if we want to use that there. Let's get some of our battle fleet and such better organized. you attack there. You move to there. New mod came out as not as crazy as Black Ice, but kind of fun and historical. Hearts of Oak is what it's called. I've heard of it. I have not yet checked it out. I do want to check it out. I will probably play it for the channel because I value sort of history the most. History-based mods. You can see some of my ranting, including on this, when things go unhistorical. Not that they have to follow the exact script, but it just, you know, the U.S. isn't going to invade Canada, you know, or something. So things that just wouldn't have happened. That's what really sort of gets me worked up and going, yeah, this isn't the best solution. Okay, you support that attack. The Italian troops from two sides. We have some moderators. I think they could approve that if they want to. Yeah, oh, Downfall, yeah, absolutely. Very, very good movie, and as I just actually saw a YouTube video earlier today talking about how that is probably one of the most accurate portrayals of what Hitler was like at the very end. Okay, Italy declares war on Greece. Okay, that we want to deal with. Indian prince donates fighters. Nazam of Hyderabad, an Indian prince, has generously donated the money to purchase 2 full squadrons of our most modern fighters for the Royal Air Force. The government has expressed their thanks and declared that the first plane will be named Spirit of Hyderabad. Okay. I don't know if Azad's still here or not. Probably has mixed feelings about this, or maybe just thinks he's a complete and total traitor or something. Bruno Graz, the actor playing. Yeah, I heard that, Abraham Lincoln. I did hear that. Britain cleverly used combination of divide and rule, but it isn't entirely so cynical that India was united and the British just cleverly, he's a typical loyal subject of the glorious British Empire. Well, the Nazims were known to be quite nutty, Nazi. Okay. India was not, you know, I don't know, was, because I'm trying to think back to the days of Clive of India, and such, in my admittedly limited readings of the period, was maybe as unified as Europe was, and the idea that, you know, Europe could normally get together and be fairly unified when it comes to a Muslim invasion or something like that, but otherwise not terribly unified Europe. And so that's sort of how I view India. And do we? I guess I better do it. Hold it. Let me see if I can get up there. Okay. We can do that, and I'm gonna hit that. I guess no moderators are here right now. No problem. Don't know what happened to Arno. He hasn't shown up. So, you know, in the I see it as a region, not a. I mean, obviously it's a country, sort of now, because you have Bangladesh and Pakistan as being independent countries. So, and whether you throw in Sri Lanka, Ceylon, whatever you want to call that, as part of it. So, I see it as a region, and it's fine that it's unified. I'm not complaining about that or trying to not say that it should be. It's just that's the way it is. But so, like I was saying, Britain takes advantage of this. So a lot of these princely houses, my understanding is they had a considerable regional support for them. I mean, obviously they would have had that, or they wouldn't have been in power. I mean, you sort of have to realize that because they weren't just, many of them at least, weren't just figureheads. So them wanting to donate to the British might be something of the idea that, hey, Nazis are really bad, Japanese are really bad, Britons are a bit bad, but there are bad kind of thing, and we will do that. And it might be also partially just, hey, if Britain falls, our local princedom very well may fall to the unification elements. So yeah, let's see, German for Independent School in Hearts of Oak, because it gives you 4 years to build all this stuff. You get a huge modifier most. Okay, very good. Like using Rolls Royces to transport shit. Okay, well, don't know if you mean that literally or figuratively, but okay. Gandhi is still alive during this time. Yes. Decision. He's at a B-Day. Oh, okay, he's at a birthday party. Cool, thanks, Tippett. Maharathas were unifying. Mughals became their vassals. But with Afghans on one side and Brits on the other, they couldn't consolidate. Yes, they were definitely trying to unify, is my understanding. Britain under their, if I remember correctly, I've heard it described as a confederation, so it wasn't maybe completely unified, but even their political structure. But I may have that wrong. Sri Lanka is its own thing. Okay, well, that's an interesting viewpoint. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just okay. Some of the ethnic groups I think are on both continent and the island. Japan eats China. Is entirely a figurehead. Okay, his ministers ruled in his name, and they did a few genocides. I hadn't heard that because I really don't know about Nizam at all, really, quite honestly. Literally, Rolls-Royce salesman pissed him off, so he bought a fleet to transport. Okay, well, I don't know if the Rolls-Royce salesman would have been upset by that because he's made a bunch of sales. But okay, I do get the symbolism. Okay. I'm sort of waiting for that. Now that we have that, what I want to do is move you to there. I think we're going to let Greece die because I don't think we can hold Greece. But I think we might be able to hold Crete. We're going to start putting these guys. Okay, this border is blocked here, so we want to come over to here. Put you on trains. Be prepared if, when our war breaks out in the east. Because so far we've contained Germany from invading up here. That's good. Fairly federal. Okay, not really confederal. Yes, Italy has invaded Greece. As sort of I knew they would from the national focus tree. One exiled division from Yugoslavia has shown up in the London area. So we can see we a horsey division from Yugoslavia with full manpower, but not very much equipment. Well, now that you've come there, let's reinforce this spot with one. Okay, they're going after my transports, are they? Looks like it, but looks like we've got naval supremacy now that we also have the Greeks fleet in here. A division, not sure if you're talking about here. Yeah, each one of these represents oh, here. Oh, you mean down here? Yeah, this is 20 divisions strong. This has 5 corps in it, which are these 5 corps, slightly bigger box here. Then these are 20, 23, 6, 16, and 6. With their command structures, I think is what you're referring to. And 24 is the max that a leader can effectively command. Start putting more than that in there, the bonuses go down and things, so it's best just to keep it below 24, if at all practical. Danish leader. So you can see now, if we wanted to, we could add a bunch. We've gotten a bunch of exiled, some French, and various others. We can see their flag of origin. We want to put them in charge of some of the other forces. So we have them. Well, you know what I should be doing here. Okay, where is... No. Where are the... Oh, are these guys? No. Where are the guys that were in Yugoslavia moved to? Probably not Greece, because they weren't at war with Greece at the time. Here? Nope, those are all Free French. Normally they're supposed to move thought to the nearest safe base. Oh, here we go. There we go. There. You move to here and you support. Represent. What about those rectangular boxes on the map that represent on the map? Okay, let me go back to here. Yeah, these, if you're talking about these, yes, these are Hearts of Iron 3's version of a counter. To get the full set of information of what a unit is doing, you need to mix the counter with the 3D model. 3D model will sort of tell you direction, and maybe like that this division here is attacking. We can see that the blue line is that it's supporting that attack. So yes, this is sort of the info box. I would prefer straight pure counters in the Hearts of Iron 3 style. I know a bunch of people don't like those. I think they're the best, but that's just my style that I prefer. Okay, so we've cleared up that pocket there. You guys come here. They're either trying to transport in or out. Oh, you should be up. Also helping out with the Red Sea. We already had some naval bombers, but Far East Command. These guys are currently set on strike force, and these guys are on patrol. Now just patrol here. And we're going to actually have you guys patrol as well. Burn more fuel, but hopefully effectively hit more. Confuse you somewhat. Well, yeah, I understand. And it's a personal taste thing, I will completely admit. I'm not going to say it's a better or worse thing. I grew up playing, you know, war games that are, you know, sort of board game war games as opposed to, well, I also played miniatures too, but that use those. So I just read those as a natural language. You march to there. And so I understand. And now I just like the counters as a informational style. Looks like we're taking some casualties here. Are we now? Oh yeah, we have taken a bunch. Damn, we've lost a bunch of troops. I had my ships out here. They did not do a very good job convoy. Oh, they didn't. They weren't. That's why I lost them. Oh man. Oh boy, I did that badly. No man. Okay, cover that, because I had them here, I didn't have them in Greece, and they all got sunk once they got up into the Aegean. Oh man, I lost a bunch of units because I didn't do that well. Well, we need to reinforce, so we're going to send in more. Now that we have forces there, hopefully they'll escort them properly. Autocorrect, 23 days of fuel left. No, this is days to fill the fuel at this rate. I do believe. Yeah, I'm sure. JP, let's see. Does the game show the results of land battles, since I see more naval battle results? They don't leave them on the map. No, they don't leave them on the map like they do for naval battles, and air battles are also not left on the map. You do see air as it's engaged versus ships. So this is German air versus my destroyers here. Yes, you see that, but you don't see air on air because we have. We can click here. Happy to show you. We have a bunch of our fighters up over the English Channel, and we're not winning it currently. That's why it's red, though we are winning over Britain. So yeah, more oil from Iran, or the U.S. is where I want to import more oil from. Yeah, if it was all green, we're fully stocked up on fuel that we can currently store. So we have current fuel. We're using up more than we're currently gaining. My putting in some of those ships on patrol really are gobbling up the fuel. Hello, Sarsfield. Good to see you. Happy St. Patrick's Day indeed. So we do need more fuel coming in. So we'll come here. We'll get it from America, as you can see. Let's do that, which of course eats into our civil factories. Is sort of why I haven't just, you know, done huge amounts. Okay, I think the big thing is we need more fighters. Yeah, we need more fighters. We are burning up. Just was watching a video on why Hitler lost the war, and the author. He was speaking, I think, to the U.S. War College that was recorded at. And basically his conclusion was because Hitler was a Nazi. I mean, and he's right. That's why he lost the war. And to put it a little more detailed is whenever there was a conflict, because he agrees, I don't know if he agrees with my strategy of how Hitler could have won, but he says Germany could have won the war, and I agree with that. But he says that every time there was a conflict between what was good for the either German army or Germany strategically, and what was good for the National Socialist movement, Hitler always picks the National Socialist movement. And so that sort of dooms Germany. And so, yeah, really he could have made better choices on managing that. I'm looking here, yeah. And we could use more aluminum. I'm starting to get to the point that, yeah, we should get another. And we can also, we'll do that. If it's green, then it, oh yeah. Okay, the Hadley page. Now that we have the strategic bombers. Yeah, we'll spend that to push that a little further faster. What the? You've all... Do you guys have your medium tanks yet? Well, now you're getting them. Okay, good. That should help. Your mistake was letting Himmler classify Slavs as Untermensch and Rosenberg wanted them to be lesser Aryans. This would mean Slavs would actually help the German army against the Red Army. Well, you're definitely right in the sense that Hitler treats what would be potentially big allies like the Ukrainians as basically enemies, you know, plundering them for their resources and their food. One of the comments that the guy quotes was from like an undersecretary type guy from, you know, in Churchill's government that he interviewed some years ago. He's the reason that the guy quotes, and obviously this isn't the reason, but his quote was, our German scientists were better than Hitler's German scientists. And so Hitler, and not just the Jewish scientists, there are many scientists that leave Germany. There's a massive brain drain out of Germany when Hitler's coming to power. And so Hitler's ideology really makes some really bad decisions for winning the war. And if you go and you look at Hitler's Monsters, the book, and some of the other stuff that I've read, Hitler really does see this whole thing as an ideological war. And that it is to be won with ideology, not won with brilliant battlefield maneuvers. And so he's really sees the world through this kind of view. And that's really affects how he does things. I don't quite know if Rosenberg wants to treat them as lesser Aryans, but He is sees them more as a utility than something to be destroyed. Definitely. German marching songs being taken down by YouTube, even though most of the songs aren't even. Well, for historical reasons, I think the song should be there, no matter what they say. You know, the horse vessel song or whatever, just for pure historical reasons. I think they should be there. Now, if they were, shall we say, because that they're on YouTube, you need a video as an element of it. If they just had photo or film of German soldiers marching, whether they're singing or not, then yeah, I think it's wrong to take them down. You know, let's see if we add some fighter cover to our capabilities here. What we got are these old guys. But if they are German marching songs with what might be, oh, I don't want 100. So we're starting that over again. Categorized as propaganda. Oh, again, I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, no. Okay. Well, no. Why am I keep clicking the wrong thing here? Control click, move 10. There we go. Okay, I don't know. Because I don't want to, I want to have a reserve. Let's put you up over here right now. Go after enemy air. You come here and round. So I can see that sort of being abused. Build a lot of goodwill with Kaiser's occupation of the Russians. They fretted over. Yes, I agree. German. A lot of people in the Soviet Union hated the Soviet system. The Ukrainians, particularly, they would have gladly helped defeat the Soviets. They probably, so long as there was, and I'm sure the people that would have been moved would have been outraged. But so long as a great bulk of the Ukraine was still the Ukraine, but with some border adjustments, not, Ukraine, well, now that's over near Vladivostok or something, you know, moving the people extremely far away. I'm not talking about anything like that. But if we're talking about Germany is attacking the Soviet Union because it wants some more territory, and there's going to be some border adjustments, the Ukrainians probably would have understood, not liked, but understood and go, yeah, we get that. But if it's just some sort of little reservation down here, or the Ukraine has moved, like I say, over to Vladivostok, no, that's not. That's sort of what Hitler was, you know, shipped the Ukrainian peoples out to some other location. Yeah, he could have found lots of allies. I'm sure you have AZADs. Songs of the Prussians, those Germans can really cheer you up after a bad day. Yeah. Well, of course, in my opinion, sort of, the German Empire is really the Prussian Empire. So, yeah. Now, does this transport get through? We've got escorts here. I see Italian subs, good, but we have what should be good subfighters, destroyers, and aircraft, and maybe not many aircraft. Yeah, this time we're getting through, it looks like. Yeah, well, that's part of also, okay, ace pilot promoted. But it comes down to, in my opinion, two things. One, even though the Nazis document a lot of what's going on, they really don't want people to. Well, actually, no. Let's leave the ones we don't want. They really don't want people to know what's going on. The Germans to know what's going on, so they're trying to hide their crimes within the war. So there is that element to it. You crush those guys. But there is also the element of doing it at sort of a bad strategical or tactical moment. Where we have these guys here. Let's... We can go and hold there to let them crush them for not having enough supplies. That'll be good. Okay, good. We now have this, so 57. I don't know. Okay, so it's only going to do... Well, I hear what you're saying, but... They knew a lot of what was going on. They chose to pretend not to. And you actually read some of the recorded stuff that, yeah, they knew. Now, well, we don't really yet have air cover, though I'm hoping we would by now, but no. See, god damn. Ugh! This is why I don't look at this air zone. I have these planes here. They cover very little of the air zone because the air zone is from here to here. Well, Tippett. Now, we're not going to go too deep into this because partially for demonetization, partially because it's a very sensitive subject, and I don't want to make light of it. But within the last 2 years, so recently, but not like in weeks ago, but recently I came across the picture that someone, I guess it had been around, but I'd never seen or heard of it before. And it was a picture taken in Poland just before Hitler reviews the parade. What are you trying to... doesn't mean anybody... Okay, we're going to show that, and you're just... But please, I'm having to approve your language. We don't want to be demonetized, AZADs. And so please continue to watch it a little more carefully. Like I was saying, a few days before Hitler reviews the parade in Warsaw after, so you get the time frame. This is 1939, just after the fall of Poland. There's a oh, well, yeah, this one zone should be split into 3. And my basic opinion is pick an air zone size that say ME-109 can fully, if you plunk him in the center of it, he can fully cover his air zone, you know, in the center. So maybe if he's in an airbase in, you know, the Moroccan zone, he has trouble covering the Algerian zone. But get an airbase size that's right. But okay, back to so to give you just a few days before this parade that Hitler reviews in Warsaw, and is filmed by Leni Riefenstahl. You know who she was, the director or whatever, who did the movie Olympia, did the Triumph of the Will, all of that. This photo was taken just a few days before that in Poland, of Leni Riefenstahl standing next to a bunch of Germans, just with complete shock and horror on her face, because she's just watching an execution of a bunch of people in Poland. I forget whether they were Jews or whatnot, but they were civilians that were being... She watched her execution of that. She films the parade for Hitler and never films a single another thing for the Nazis ever again. Basically, she's done. She sees one mass execution in Poland. She's done. And this is the woman that did Triumph of the Will. This is the woman that did Olympia. She's done. She doesn't do a single more thing. So it just literally, just like in the next couple of days, she sort of keeps herself together. She's already committed to filming the parade in Warsaw. And that's it. She doesn't do another single film anything for the Nazis ever again. And so it's not because they're losing. It's not, this is before they've even had the, you know, battle in France. This is, and I didn't realize this. And this is why there is no Leni Riefenstahl's movie of Hitler visiting Paris or some other thing. And so here's a woman who was a Nazi. Now, she doesn't publicly do much about it. Obviously, she can't. I would say a lot of people care about the Armenians, too. And you're right, Azads, a lot of people don't know, because I don't know about, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I do know that the Persians have done various ethnic type cleansings within this region, and I don't know specifically at all about the famine of 1918-19. Hey, John, good to see you. So, I know, well, of course, very much about the Armenian situation, and we're going to try not to use words to get us demonetized, please. That's sort of why I'm talking in euphemisms and why we're not going to go too deep into this. But so I would say here's someone who's a committed person to the new order who bails on it at that point. And I think that may be quite typical of a lot of people if they knew what was going on inside the Third Reich at that time. And yes, I used that title at that specifically title of a book, but yeah. But a lot of the soldiers, particularly a lot of the officers, know what's going on. I don't know about, your average German soldier unless they did sort of see it. That's a little bit different situation. Come on, I moved 3 of you to get there all at once. God damn it. How is this one different? I sent all 3 of you at once. God damn, stop moving. Okay. What's your template? Okay, that's your template. Okay, this guy, we're going to get a new template for you. So that you're all the damn same. Because I don't want to... I know how bad this crap can be. Okay, yeah, you're going to change your template to this infantry division. Because you need to all show up all at the same time. If I send you in there, come on, come on, come on. Because you're not going to be able to hold or take and hold it piecemeal. I know that. During the famine. Well, okay. I don't know about that. I'm not saying I don't know as in I'm saying it's not happening. I just don't know. And I know you're attributing it to some degree as being a British problem, where... Wow! Wow! What? Ah! I'll adjust your comment in a minute, but... I'm just in shock. Why isn't this French territory? Okay, state owner, here is, they're saying is Vichy, can be claimed as French Somaliland, Djibouti as French Somaliland. But why isn't this Free French territory? That's what I want to know. Why isn't this Free French territory? Well, occupied territories. No. Not because I don't want it to be an independent thing. I want it to be Free France, so that, like we have here, France has a chance to use whatever resources, and it won't, you know, it won't be my puppet. It'll be for the government in exile of Free France. Occupied French corps. Well, maybe. Let's see. No, not until I guess we take. They should have corps down there. Okay, now, what about the Indian famine that happened in the British rule? Sometimes the empires have issues that are keeping an eye on what's happening in their colonies or financial ventures, not humanitarian ones. Well, yes and no, Azads. I've recently watched a short video, meaning something under half an hour, on the famine in India during it, and I don't have the link handy. Sometime I want to put the link and have you watch it to tell me what you think of the video, as in historical correctness and such. Would love to have your opinion on the video. About people don't hear about things until the dominant polity. Well, I would have to agree with that. It is that because we have the terrible thing that happened in New Zealand, and again, we're not going to start using words that gets us demonetized, please. but we have the thing that happened down there. But we don't hear about what happened also very, very recently, within the last couple of months or something, of 150 Christians killed in a church in Nigeria by Muslims. No one hears about that. More people dead. Now, these are people in a non-Western country, and they're non-Western people. We don't hear about it. And it's not, as in some people are, well, justifying, well, they did this, so we can do. No, it's not. It's just, why don't we hear about that? It's because it doesn't fit the agenda of the media. And no, it isn't because they're British or something that you don't like about them in that way. It doesn't fit their agenda. And so it's not, I'm disagreeing with some of what you're saying, but I'm agreeing with it in some ways as well. The Bengal famine, right? That'll be interesting. I like they did talk about scorched earth, but they were talking more about Japanese invasion fears as part of that. There's many Middle Eastern nations, yeah. But Nigeria, you don't hear much about that country. Well, we did under Obama when there was a bunch of black girls taken by black men, and it was Free Our Children or whatever the hashtag, to try to get these black girls that were Christian, I believe, or animist. Not all the black, not all. The capital of currently, the capital of Nigeria is up in here. It's not their most populous city of Lagos. It's up here because it's this sort of northern Muslim faction, and I'm using people. Oh, you're Islamophobic. Some of the things I've tweeted. No, I'm tweeting a picture of a European park in which there's some girls in bikinis getting the sun, and there's two, we presume, girls or women walking by in burqas, not hijabs, but burqas. And so I'm using the language very, and no, my tweet isn't against Muslims. It's against sort of this cultural invasion of Islamification, not anti-Muslim. There's a difference. And so not all, there's three basic, shall we say, basic religions in Nigeria. Northern is Muslim. The sort of southern half is animist and Christianity. Animist is, the spirits of the trees and the bushes and whatnot. Sort of primitive polytheism. That's just sort of the three religions. So I don't know that the church victims are Christian churches, but, Christians. But so we see these events happening and other events that did get more play than that, but not as much as the Australian, but were the Coptic Christians being killed in Egypt. No, that's more than a year ago. But yeah, those things aren't getting much play. So sometimes you hear about them, sometimes you don't. Well, okay, and you're right about what Churchill was doing. Oh, I'm sure that, recent, yes. You may have some very recent ones, but there were some very high casualty counts within the last year or so, or maybe a little more than a year. They talked about in this, and I bookmarked it, but I dig it up and I'll try to have it for the next stream and hopefully have it ready to copy and paste for you to look at sometime, and just like you hear. They do talk about that Churchill refuses to send food because they talk about, one, there's a local overestimation of the current food levels, so they actually ship food out before the famine starts. They ship food out. And then there's because Burma's fallen or falling, they're afraid of Japanese coming over. So there is some scorched earth policy that contributes to it. That's a military perceived necessity. Obviously, it ends up not being needed, but they're thinking it might be needed. So that's understandable. Now, they talk also that there were food shipments from Australia going to England that could have been diverted and weren't. And Churchill says no. Then they get, at some point, they're published in a British, I think, weekly pictorial magazine of the famine. And that shocks the British nation to see just how bad it is. And then it gets sent. Then after that, publicly done, then Churchill and others approve sending food to Bengal once it becomes publicly known. And so, you know, should have been done faster, sooner. Like I say, I'm not saying it was the right decision to do the scorched earth policy, but I can understand it as a military decision, because we can look at just Napoleon's invasion to Moscow and the Russian scorched earth policy in the regions that Napoleon's army were moving in. Probably killed lots of Russian people because they didn't have any food. And that winter hits and they die of starvation. We don't hear about that. We hear about the Napoleon's army getting to Moscow and not having food and dying of starvation as it's marching out. Probably a lot of Russians died too. Civilians died because the scorched earth policy. Don't have numbers. I don't know that anybody does. I'm sure some people were sort of evacuated to other areas, but, I'm sure there were people that weren't evacuated during the French invasion of Russia. So, and there was also sort of a southern army and a northern army. I think the northern army was made up of Spanish and Prussians and some French units. And those was also scorched earth around their movements as well. So, that the British did some scorched earth. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it was the right choice to make, but I'm not going to blame them for that. Now, that doesn't excuse them later on not sending food once the situation is different. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, I will. I'll dig it up. It's just buried in my links, and I haven't want to dig it out right now. Right. So yeah. So it's that kind of thing. And so I'm not blaming them, but and again, from the documentary, it wasn't a policy like the Holodomor that Britain was doing. It was more like, well, we were doing some scorched earth and we effed up, and lots of people died, and we should have reacted sooner. That kind of thing. And that this does blame Churchill is secondary, because they blame because Churchill knew that there was a famine, but did he know how bad it was? That's sort of the thing. And because Hitler, I don't think Churchill was paying attention. I'm not saying somebody didn't bring something up to him and that he didn't do the right thing. I'm just thinking he was looking at other things as more important, and this sort of fell through the cracks, and not excusing it, but I'm just saying I don't think it was something that he wanted to have happen. It's something that happened under his watch, and he could have done a better job. So I'm not excusing it. I'm just not saying is this. Is any famine good? Well, not for the people suffering from it. I'm talking about the idea of a military, scorched earth policy. That can be a good thing to do. Yeah, that happens. Well, I think we've gone on long enough for this episode. We're not going to end the chat, so you guys don't need to go anywhere. But we're going to be ending this. So if you haven't already, please like the video. And hey, if you're going to dislike the video, do so. But tell me why. I want to know, is it because of what we're talking about, or just you don't like my play style or whatnot? Love to hear that kind of feedback. So see you next time for more Hearts of Iron.